Hello, lovelies. This morning I am going to interview Diane Elson, and she is a EMF expert, and she's got a really interesting story to tell. And I am particularly interested in this as someone who has been through breast cancer, and I think that anyone who's had cancer should look at ways to reduce their EMF exposure. And Diane has taught me a lot. I knew that to put my phone on loudspeaker, not to hold the phone right up to my ear, but what I didn't know is that I shouldn't even be holding the phone. So now I would put the phone on loudspeaker and put the phone down. The other thing that she has introduced me to is, oh, okay. She can see me, so that's great. I'm just going to try and bring her on. Hopefully, anyway, I'll keep talking. She could see me, that's great. She has introduced me to air tube headsets. So that's an even better way that we can reduce our exposure to EMFs. And yeah, she's got a whole heap of interesting things to help us reduce our, oh, I can see her. This is so exciting, Diane. I can see you. And now I'm going to add you. All right. Add. Yay. I am. Bit.
Hey.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Great. I can hear you and see you. And I'm not sure, you know what I'm like with mobile phones. I don't even know where I should be looking. So I'm going to look over in the corner there.
Yes. And now Diane is amazing because she very rarely uses her mobile phone because she does understand the EMFs and the exposure to the device. So, but I want to start, Diane, thank you for joining me. And I want to start with your journey. What got you into this invisible EMFs?
Well, funnily enough, I'm glad you asked this because I do love this story, even though it did, affect me quite horrifically for 3 whole months of my life. I did actually suffer from exposure to EMF. I had no idea what it was. I went to my doctor and went back for the tests, absolutely dreading what my doctor was going to tell me. And my doctor told me there was nothing wrong with me. I was really healthy. So I just walked out of there and I could see myself visiting doctors, specialists, different medication and tests, and it was just a terrible thought. My symptoms were actually insomnia. I never had sleep issues before, and I know when people used to tell me they had insomnia, I used to just brush it off and just think, well, yeah, sure, you've got insomnia. How do you cope and get through the day? Well, you do. I had extreme fatigue, and it was the fatigue like I used to be able to walk up a slight incline to get to my unit. I used to be able to bound up that, and the fatigue was in such a way that I could barely make it up to the top. And when I got there, I would just sit down and just be pretty well exhausted.
Wow.
The most embarrassing thing though, Nick, was memory loss. I'd be halfway through talking with people, and halfway through the sentence, I'd forget what I was saying, and that was really embarrassing for me and for the people that were standing around, waiting to hear what I had to say. It just so happened that I went down to a course down in Melbourne that I'd applied to go to. I wanted to do geobiology, but this course had geobiology and EMF shielding and assessment. So I just went down and did that. And I was down there for 5 or 6 days. When I came back, I was fine, and I went back to a place where I used to go and study. And I realised when I went back there after a couple of days of being back here in Townsville that while I was in Melbourne, my symptoms had pretty well cleared up. And I thought, wow, this is a bit strange. And it got me thinking, and I thought, hey, hold on, my symptoms didn't start until I started actually studying in this space. And then I realised, Oh my gosh, Diane, the penny clicked. You've just been down to Melbourne studying all about this and the symptoms. You are exposed to EMF, my dear. So I just
Wow.
stopped where I just said, right, I'm not coming back here to study anymore. I went and found somewhere else, and my symptoms um, virtually disappeared. It was that
And
quick.
and the rest is history, they say.
And the rest is history. That's right. So I went on and I thought, wow, there are other people walking around like I'm walking around with all these symptoms and going back crazy. Um, and you know, how do you know? You don't know this sort of stuff. I was so lucky that I stumbled across it. So I went on and did more
Mm.
courses. So now I go into homes, I can assess homes and workplaces. I've got special equipment that I use that picks it up. Sometimes in very high areas, I feel it myself. Um, but yes, the phone is one of the things that I choose to stay clear of. And
Mhm.
even for me, having to do this Facebook Live over my mobile phone, I'm not touching it. But I know I've just done, like I said to you, um, with my meter, I've just checked it and I'm really getting overexposed here. I can actually feel my face getting hot as well. And that's about 2 rulers away from me. So I won't be,
I
yeah.
know
So
it was really scary when Di told me how much exposure we get from doing a Facebook Live. You know, I like to do Facebook Lives as part of, you know, my social media. And yeah, you telling me just how much exposure we're getting is a bit scary. Yeah, yeah. And what I
no,
think is you know one of the things I want to say is that you know getting headaches and insomnia and getting tired and memory loss is one of those those sort of things that we go. It could be so many things. Do you know what I mean? It could be a diet. You know, diet can produce all of those symptoms. So I think it's one of those things that we go, let's tick this one off. Let's make sure that you know we're not getting an exposure, not only for our long-term health, but for those you know those other health issues that we might be struggling with.
absolutely. And you know, basically most things happen, most disease and illness and that mostly starts from our environment as well. And I know naturopaths, well,
Mm.
sometimes look at, well, if my remedies aren't helping my patient, it must be something in their environment. And yeah, like who would ever
Yeah.
thought that? Well, let me explain EMF, may I? Just in
Yes,
general.
please.
Okay, so EMF is electromagnetic fields, and there's many types of electromagnetic fields, but the two that I focus on are magnetic fields, and these come from the power poles out the front of our home, the wiring in our walls, and the electricity, and the appliances in our homes when they're turned on. Now, back in 1979, childhood
Mm.
leukemia was linked to the power poles out the front of the home. So, and just the Bio Initiative report has published that sleeping in a magnetic field has been linked to various types of cancers and neurodegenerative diseases. So just to give you an idea of that,
Mm.
2 to 4 milligauss, and milligauss is what we measure a magnetic field in, is linked to childhood leukemia. 16 milligauss is linked to breast cancer. And then you've got your various other cancers within that scale. So what we're looking at here is, how far away is that power pole out the front of the home? Where is the meter box situated?
Mm.
What else is impacting you while you're sleeping or where you spend a great deal of time? So that's one area of EMF. So if you think electrical, and the other area is radio frequency radiation, which is used in the telecommunications industry. So there we're looking at mobile phone towers. Cordless phones are a big one. Don't think you're safe if you use a cordless phone. It's exactly the same as a mobile phone.
Mm.
Um, and we're also looking at
Mm.
like Wi-Fi, and just general things like that. Our devices that don't use wired connections. Yeah.
Yeah. And just so that you don't panic and think that you're going to have to sell your home or something like that, there are steps and strategies that you can take. I know that when I was living in one particular house, Diane got me to go outside of where my head was in this room and to see what was behind the wall. So it may just be a simple matter of moving the bed to another wall, so you're not directly behind, you know, say whatever electrical appliance it might be outside, maybe a sprinkler system or a solar heart box or something like that. The other thing, Di, is to turn off your Wi-Fi at night time. That's probably a really simple one, isn't it?
Absolutely. Definitely. Wi-Fi off at night time. Don't have your mobile phone in your room. If you do, make sure it's on flight mode, and definitely don't have it charging by the bed as well. Excuse me. And yes, just be aware of where you're sleeping and where you're spending time. What is around you.
And I think, I can't remember which one, but I was saying always put your phone on loudspeaker and don't hold your phone. Well, I mean, I know you taught me that, because I always thought I was, I'm so good because I always put my phone on loudspeaker, but I was holding it. So actually put your phone on loudspeaker and put it down on the table in front of you, and don't hold it. And of course, I think we all kind of know not to wear our phones on us, to put your phone in your handbag. And so that, because that's another way. And don't do lots of Facebook Lives like me.
Well, the thing is, there are ways to use your devices safely, and you know you can do Facebook Lives, Nick. But you know, do them on your computer with your Wi-Fi turned off and using a cabled connection.
Sadly,
so that's
at the moment, we can't do Facebook Lives on our computer yet. Oh, no, you can do a Facebook Live on your computer, but as yet you can't do an interview. But yes, no, that's a good point, because a lot of my Facebook Lives are just me, so I will do them on my computer from now on. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and yeah, like with these kind of calls, just make sure your mobile phone's is a fair distance as possible away from you. Another thing with using the mobile phone too is that if there's low signal, so you know how you usually have 5 bars, that means you've got a good signal. If you've only got 2 bars, that means the signal's not very good. That's one of the worst times you can use your mobile phone, because your mobile phone is searching so hard to find that connection with the mobile phone tower.
Wow.
It's just incredible. And even the mobile phone, when you're not using it, like it's always looking for where is that mobile phone tower. They just need to be in contact all the time. And so that's why it's a good idea, you know, in your instructions in your manual, it says your mobile phone's not meant to be carried on your body, and it's not meant to be. And your laptop is meant to be at least 20 centimeters away from you, not on your lap. You know, so there's a lot of ways to keep ourselves safe with technology. It's just knowing how. It's being aware that the technology can be dangerous and can cause many serious health issues. Another way to use your mobile phone safely, which is for people with business that can't use speakerphone, or if they're out in public, are the headsets.
Yes.
These are what we call air tube headsets, and they're just brilliant. I've got a pair here, and so how they work is, so you've got the part of the headset that puts into your phone or your computer. All this here is specifically braided to reduce EMF traveling up into your ears, but here at the last part it's an air tube, so EMF can't travel up into your ear because the air tube does not give it anything to travel up into. So this is a great way too, if you need to talk privately, to get air tube headsets as well. So they're really good, and there's even some out for kids as well that use theirs. You know, they need the
great. Yep.
Things like that.
Now I have to really plug this, because I purchased some from Diane for my adult teens, and one of my teens immediately, you know, used it and was very impressed with the quality, and that means a lot for teens who are always on their devices. And he was blown away. He said, "Gee, Mum, how do you know about this?" Insert swear word. And I said, oh, I just do a lot of research, love. And, so for me, I was really excited that not only had I been able to purchase my children something that's practical, but also something that's healthy and is going to, give them a little bit of protection from EMFs in the future. So it's, and I can't remember, how much were they, Di?
Oh, $47 plus postage.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that is such a practical gift to be able to give your children. Yeah, I was really, really rapt about it. Now, thank you so much for coming on, Di. Can you please tell people how they can find you?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. I have a Facebook page, and that is Rest Assured. So RESTASSURED and I have a website as well. So I'm always posting tips and short videos and that on tips on how to keep yourself safe from EMF. I have a great one that I did on how to keep a campaign on keeping yourself safe from magnetic fields. So there's that little video selection in there as well. So yeah, please feel free to go and view those. Thank you so much, Nick.
No worries. So if you live in the vicinity of Di, which is it Townsville, Di?
Townsville.
Where you live? Yeah. So if you live in the Townsville vicinity, you can actually, Di can actually come to your home and do an assessment of your home or your working space. If you don't, you can actually jump on a call with her, and you can get an assessment of your home. Obviously, she won't be able to take the readings, but she can still give you some tips and on how to reduce your exposure in your home. I know that she did that with me. I got her on, video, and she did some assessments for me. So, Di, we can put the link for you above this live. And thanks everyone for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Before you go, Nick.
Yes.
I just want to say what a magnificent job you are doing. I just think you're a guiding light, and you've helped me so much with what you're sharing within your group and all your food tips. And you're just doing a magnificent job. And I just want to thank you on behalf of all the ladies in your group, of the great job that you do. You're very, very inspiring. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dal. All right, we'll see you around. Bye.
See you later. Bye.